Welcome once again on an expose I've been doing, exposing the satanic Hollywood elite. Hopefully, I can finish this expose and get started on my next expose, which I'm going to be talking about at the end of this one. Okay? I'll give you a little bit of a taste of what's next. So you can see that, I don't only just pick on some aspects of Satanism. I go after all the Satanist pigs in their various macabre forms. That's how you say it, right? Macabre forms. Luciferianism. Religion of liberation. That's what the enemy believes. But don't get it twisted. Don't fall for it. Their liberation ain't the same liberation you think of when you think about the word liberation. It means something totally different to these motherfuckers. Remember, in their own writings, as I've stated on previous videos, black is white, good is bad, light is darkness, darkness is light. Liberation for them is enslavement for you and me. The term religion is well misunderstood by most. Religion is simply philosophy and practice in everyday life. Religion is often also known as being spiritual. Luciferians are spiritual, even if they don't believe in a manifested spirit. Spiritualism comes from the self-realization and responsible action, as all things in your universe are a manifestation of the will. Luciferians are responsible social realists. There's that word social again. Socialismo. Which shows a root within a spiritual compound. Morality and spirituality are what Luciferianism is and was founded on. Morals will vary from person to person. However, whatever fulfills one spiritually or internally is indeed a work of their morals. Liberation is the cornerstone of Luciferianism. Liberation of the entire self. Liberation of the spirit, will, and mind. Total freedom of the self in purest form of Luciferic expression. While all other religions deny liberation, we are the embodiment of it. Responsibility must also be stressed when speaking of liberation. Responsibility is learned once one realizes all things, bad or good, that happens in one's life is his own doing. There is no retarded threefold law or leash to chain us down like dogs. However, if one needs money, get a job. Again, stating the obvious. If one is unhappy at work, change jobs to something more pleasing. Never blame others for problems in your life. And let me just stop there and say one thing. If you let these motherfuckers take over, which I'm sorry to say they are beginning to do, then you're going to be the chained dogs. You and me. We're going to be the chained dogs. Believe you me. The acknowledgement of the ego in magic, again, spelt with a K at the end, is really the only difference between supposed black Luciferic magic and white magic. In reality, when a white magician heals someone, they feel good inside. Hence, they do it. Even if white magicians deny it, they also use magic with ego. Magic is just magic. To label it black or white is folly. Magical law, much like human nature, is universal. Luciferianism focuses on self-realization, self-deification. For those of you who don't understand what that means, is man becoming God, man or woman becoming God or goddess, and self-cultivation, and is by nature solitary. Though Luciferianism is solitary, group practice is encouraged so one can meet others in the same religion and learn from one another. Lucifer, being a bringer of wisdom, would best be represented through others who have a constant thirst for knowledge. They always, whenever you'll know when you come across these people, no matter what organization they call themselves, no matter what it is, and they could be extremely opposite each other. When you hear knowledge, when you hear wisdom, when you hear these key words, understanding, when you hear these key words, okay, and when you hear that, and when they start talking about man becoming God, it's all the same shit. You begin to see it's the same goddamn organization. It looks different. What it's about might be different, but you'll know from the terms that they use that it's the same damn shit. A burning passion for life is what drives us toward our studies and magical perfection. Through solitary practice, I have learned more about myself and am able to see myself for the first time. Through group practice, I've learned much more about religion and all forms of magic. Being a Luciferian is much more than a title or a label. It is towards the totality of all forms of liberation. It is the intentional act of self-accusation and final perfection. There is a lifelong dedication to the self and to wisdom for one to be called a Luciferian. False emotion and martyrdom must be eradicated, as well as false egotism for one to be called a Luciferian. Finally, the term Luciferian can never be given to one with the following attributes. So make sure you're one of these, okay? Someone who speaks without action. Someone who blames others for their own faults. Someone who has no thirst of life or knowledge. Yeah, we have no thirst for your lifestyle and your knowledge. Hell yeah, count me into that. I'm one of those motherfuckers. Someone who cares little about themselves. But that's not me. I care about myself a lot. I care about myself so much that I'm exposing you motherfuckers from enslaving me. Someone who is afraid or hesitant of total liberation. Someone who thinks Luciferianism is their way or no way. Luciferianism and Luciferic thought should never be systemized or standardized to the point of alienation or individual thought. Someone who thinks that they're evil. Evil and good are creations of Christianity, not of individual thought. Creations of Christianity? How about Judaism? How about Islam? You don't think evil exists in other faith? What kind of retard is this? What kind of retard writes shit like this and actually has people believing this shit? If this guy's an idiot and you believe what this guy writes and believes in, you're an even bigger idiot. Someone who feels as though they need to talk, act, or dress a certain way. Someone who feels the world treats them so horribly. So in turn, they adapt the I don't care about anything attitude, apathy. We continue now with something called the Luciferic hurricane. Oh, it's a hurricane, y'all. A hurricane's coming. You better believe it. A hurricane called socialism, atheism, and Satanism. That's the hurricane. In the new millennium, our country, I thought it belonged to everybody. Which reminds me, let me just stop right here. And I'm being sincere about this. I'm being very sincere. If you're a Jew and all you think, if you live in this country, the United States of America, and you're unhappy as a Jew here, go to Israel. If you live in here and you're black and you're unhappy being an American, I feel for you, go back to Africa. If you're an Aryan or Anglo-Saxon and you feel that you can't handle living in America no more, all right, stop bitching and complaining. Go back to England and go back to Ireland and go back to Scotland and go back to Germany, go back to Europe. Okay? If you're Chinese and you don't see yourself as an American either, just like the other ones, okay, and you're unhappy, go back to China. Go back to China. Go back to socialist, communist China. For real. I'm sick of everybody being so proud of what they are racially or culturally, all right? But they don't want to be Americans. They don't want to be Americans. So if you don't want to be an American, just leave. Go, go, go. The Luciferic hurricane. In the new millennium, our country will have witnessed the undoing of organized religion as the world floods, burns, and rapidly deletes into a more original primal state. And this guy's obsessed with Christianity. As far as this guy is concerned, there's no other religions or faith in the world. And Christianity falls as people realize they cannot be saved. The world has already witnessed many of these things over the past few years, and they will continue to worsen and grow more fierce as time passes. You may ask why I bring this to your attention. The answer is simple. As the world drifts into their more survivalist state, they will realize there is no caring, forgiving God guiding them, and those that still do cling to the cross are fools. A war is currently being fought and has been fought for centuries now. The war is going on around the world. It has many faces and many names. My favorite is urban bliss. As our world moves more toward an industrial environment, and as the ozone depletes more rapidly, you see, they're not liberals. They're not environmentalists. Even if they don't know it, they're a bunch of socialist, satanic, atheist idiots. They all have the same agenda. They all have the belief to see how the ozone depletes, but they don't tell you that it's the same scum bucket motherfuckers, socialist pigs in our government, depleting the ozone. That's what they don't tell you. If it is depleting, they're the motherfuckers doing it. When I step out of the house, all I see are these streaks, what some people call chemtrails, all over the place. Been seeing them all my life since I was a child. They have to be doing something. I don't know what the fuck that shit is doing, but it has to be doing something. Why would they be streaking back and forth like that? Why would it hang out in the air for so long? If it wasn't for some reason. These motherfuckers don't do shit for no reason. Everything they do has a reason. this satanic bastard is worried about the ozone. As the ozone depletes more rapidly by the day, the storms and floods will continue to get worse as our world moves more toward a home-like city atmosphere. The crime rate will rise to an all-time high thanks to motherfuckers like this. If you, man, let me tell you something. If these people ever, okay, get control, complete control, you better believe the crime rate is gonna skyrocket. What did they say earlier on in the previous video? What did I read they believe in? Do as you wilt is the whole of the law. There is no thing as sin. And now this motherfucker's worried about crime? Hypocrites, hypocrites, hypocrites. The crime rate will rise to an all-time high. This is what I call the Great Luciferic Hurricane. Why, you may ask? Why, you may ask? Once again, the answer is simple and right in front of your face. The very essence of Luciferianism, the foundation of it, is based around survival of the fittest. Now who coined that term? Survival of the fittest. There you go. There's some homework. Google it. Find out. Find out who he's quoting here. Find out who said survival of the fittest. Then you see the connections. Then you see that the person who he's quoting here was also a satanic, atheist, socialist pig. This is where Luciferic ethics will reign, and the so-called good Christian ethics will prove useless. Christianity is only in place to protect those too weak to protect themselves, with their love all attitude, and forgiveness is divine crap that has no place in our world's future. Let me read that again. You Christians are in danger. Boy, and I don't consider myself Christian. I was born supposedly a Catholic, but I'm not a practicing Catholic. But you people who call yourselves Christian, who are being manipulated and controlled by these same bastards, you're being led to the slaughter. Let me tell you, let me read that again. Christianity is only in place to protect those too weak to protect themselves. With their love all attitude and forgiveness is divine crap that has no place in our world's future. Yet many will disagree and call it the judgment day of God. Oh, let me take a sip of the agua. In reality, it is a great Luciferic hurricane taking place where your very life may depend on Luciferic ethics, not the weak Christian teachings. Remember, these are the lessons and teachings and beliefs of the satanic elite of the government and Hollywood. Okay? This is what they believe. This is what they're indoctrinating your children in. Whether you know it or not, whether you accept it or not, it doesn't matter. As long as they believe this shit and they're in positions of power, they rule. They're making it happen. This hurricane, Luciferic hurricane. Let's see. Heed these words. Oh, he's warning you now. Heed these words, for as the time grows nearer to the due date, you will need to look back and realize what was right all along and what was force-fed into your minds by your parents and the Jew Christian controlled mass media on the old boob tube. Some may say I am a bit paranoid, and they are correct, but if you look at the newspaper or watch the news, you will see everything I have told you is coming true. Right before your very eyes. This sounds a bit more like concerned than paranoid if you ask me. The fall of Christianity is obvious, and the rise of a new Luciferic age is upon us. Stand forth and speak your mind, for now is the time to prepare for the silent war. And let me just tell you something, in case you didn't know. Through history, whenever revolutionary groups were about to have an uprising, they would say, now is the time. That's a socialist motto. Go do some research and find out for yourselves if I'm lying or not. Now is the time. Salvation for sale. Yes, you too can be saved for a small donation to your local Christian church. Or this is what the hypocritical Christian priests will sell you. There are TV evangelists everywhere you look nowadays talking about how your soul can be saved and how they can heal your illnesses, and all they ask for is a donation to the church. In reality, they have no real power, and it has all been a ploy to make those weak-minded enough to give up their hard-earned money to that particular church or organization. I have witnessed this firsthand. For starters, there are Benny Hinn, Oral Roberts, R.W. Schambach, and countless others that will sell you your salvation through your television set and claim the money you send will only go to help their church. Have you ever seen a TV evangelist with a shabby home? I ask, why, if money is the root of all evil, do they so long for this evil, even beg for it? They claim they are a church so that they are tax exempt and can keep all the money they take from weak-minded Christians. Man, this guy should watch the Star Wars films. He likes that term, weak-minded. Maybe that's where he got it from. Yet, if the Church of Lucifer were to try to become a tax exempt, it would be laughed at. I say, why? We are a church. Tax them all then. And I agree with that. You see, I finally found some I agree with. I say the same thing. Tax all these goddamn churches. You're going to see, once they get taxed, you're going to see so many fucking priests, bishops, they're going to start retiring. They're going to be leaving real quick. Actually, the answer is simple. Christians keep to Christians and only do for Christians. It is religious discrimination, but the government will call it something different or claim we are a cult, not a church. Because the government is a cesspool of one huge Christian pile of dung, not anymore because of you bastards. And this is how they did it, in case you're wondering. You remember when the movie stars, see, they had to go first to your idols, your so-called movie stars, your harlots, your whores, your actresses. They had to use them first to get the men. They always use the women first to get the men. You started noticing back in the, what was it? I think it mostly started in the 50s, but it could have been in the 40s as well. But in the 50s and 60s, you started seeing all this relationship association between the federal government and Hollywood. Remember when the government went after certain people thinking that they were socialists or communists and blacklisted them? Then all of a sudden they started, Marilyn Monroe singing happy birthday to the president. What? That's where it started, y'all. They infiltrated these same socialist pigs. McCarthy was right. They infiltrated through Hollywood, and from Hollywood started sending their whores over to Washington D.C. And now we're really living in a cesspool. But not because of these bastards, not in spite of them. It might have been a cesspool, but now it's their cesspool. So one cesspool replaced another cesspool, buddy. No thinking, rational, intelligent human being would buy their salvation, so to speak. Also, no rational human would believe in the garbage preached by these self-righteous idiots. But I don't believe you're garbage either, buddy. But then again, most Christians believe in a big old man in the sky pulling everyone's strings and having magical sex with virgins, where God actually has a magical child who can walk on water and who died to absolve everyone's sins. Sounds like a story I would have made up as a child, and not something I would expect grown adults to adhere and believe in. See, they have to reveal their socialist atheist beliefs. They can call themselves Luciferian, but if you keep hearing them, you keep reading them, ultimately they have to go back to all the terms that they used as the socialist atheist pigs that they are. And there you go. How long? This was a short one. This was a short one. All right, as I said at the beginning of this video, I was going to give you a little tease about upcoming expose. What is this you're saying? Well, this is the American Pope, the life and times of Francis Cardinal Spellman. Francis Cardinal Spellman. No Catholic in America had more power, held it longer, or used it more ruthlessly. Joseph Kennedy. His millions helped Spellman link Washington and Rome. His contacts brought Spellman fat profits in real estate. So why wasn't Kennedy's son the presidential candidate Spellman backed? Senator Joseph McCarthy. I just finished talking about McCarthy. Not even McCarthy's censure of Congress or by Congress could shake the strength of Spellman's support for or his admiration for McCarthy's brash, brilliant attorney, Roy Cohen. Pope Pius XII. Their political and personal alliance forged bonds of wealth, ambition, and world policy until scandal threatened it all. He knew the world's great and mighty. He acquired, used, and abused power as no other American cleric in our time. He was Francis Cardinal Spellman, the American Pope. Beginning Apologetics 2. How to answer Jehovah's Witnesses and Mormons. And this is real, okay? This is real. This is what the Catholics have to say about Freemasonry. Ready? Let's see what else they have to say before I start. Freemasonry. Joseph Smith. Oh, in case you didn't know. Let's see how much we got here. In case you didn't know, both Jehovah's Witnesses and the Mormons have past histories tied in with Freemasonry. No matter what the Freemasons deny, that's the reality. Whether these people used to be Freemasons and then went about and created their own religions is another story, okay? But there's no denying the connection between the atheist satanic Freemasons, the Luciferians, and Mormonism and Jehovah's Witnesses. Even the Catholics know this. Freemasonry. Joseph Smith entered the Masons in 1842 and quickly introduced versions of the Masonic ceremonies into Mormonism. A study of Mormon rituals reveals many similarities to the rituals of the Masonic order. It is difficult to believe these similarities are coincidental in the light of Joseph Smith's Masonic background. Well, for some reason, they don't talk about the Freemasonry connection with the Jehovah's Witnesses. But believe you me, you go do your research, you find out that the person founded by Charles Taze Russell. Go do some research on that guy, Charles Taze Russell, and you'll come across the same damn shit. Freemasonry, Luciferianism is involved in that too. But the Catholic Church ain't innocent. Baby. They're under Masonic Luciferic control now. Like a motherfucker. Well, that's it. That's the end of my expose. Stay tuned to watch the expose on this American Pope. And I hope you enjoyed this series. Till next time, peace.